Thank you very much, Craig, CJ. Hello, everyone. Thank you for jumping on here. Mary, Kevin, Michael, and Angela, Karen, Lisa, Marie, Scott, Jody, Bill, Matthew, and Ezra, and CJ. Man, I got a good subject already set up for tomorrow as well. But today's daily wisdom, I'll start out with this phrase: is what state are you in? What state are you in? Now I know a lot of people would say, I'm in Montana, I'm in Arizona, it's like I'm in California." But here's one of the unique things, I just want to say not only state of mind, but I want to say, state of your soul, state of your spirit, your emotional intelligence. Now, here's why I want to bring this up. If we're talking physically state by state and you wanted to get out of your state, then you would simply plan a trip and either go to the airport or get in your car or get on a bus and train, and you would leave your state. Everyone would immediately know in their mind that it would take some kind of intention and action to change your state. And so a lot of you will get this on a mental state or emotional state or any part of it. It's like, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis intentionally to change your emotional state, to change your mental state? Because here's something I just came up with, and I know that maybe I've talked about this before. It just hit me different. Is when I say to each and every one of you that there's certain parts of my ritual, RICH-AUL, I call it ritual, is that when I'm doing my daily things that I do every day to change my state, then the rest of my day goes extremely, extremely well. And so the things that I do, it's funny, I seen this post. I believe that everything sort of attracts us sometimes. But, as silly as this is, I got this on a Facebook post. And it was just saying most people don't realize how powerful touching a tree while barefoot can be. It can change your life in just 15 minutes. And I think that a lot of people want to, I don't know, call BS on things that can change your state, but every one of us still does it, right? For example, if people like going to a concert, you know what I mean? Does that change your state? Does going to a good movie change your state? Is going to a football game live, does that change your state? Depending on how much you're in love with something, can you watch a football game on TV and change your state? See, it amazes me that all of us can watch a football game and it's getting fall going into winter, right? And we can see people at, all wearing cheese heads, because that's, Green Bay is one of the only stadiums left that's outside, right? And a person can paint their face, green and gold, and wear a cheese head and have no shirt on. And you see these people that are just like crazy in state of cheering for their team. And, a lot of teams still get this where they call it the 11th player. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about, right? And the fans truly believe that they're an extra player for their football team. Do you guys know what I'm saying? And it's like they believe it so much that when the other team comes up to get in the huddle, they're all screaming. They're all pounding, and they're, the bleachers, they're all doing whatever they got to do to make sure that the other players on the opposite field, other team, have a difficulty hearing the signals, hearing the play. And so when they get up and all of a sudden the ball gets hiked at the wrong time or someone has offsides, the people that are the fans in the audience believe that they actually made that happen. They did. So the reason that this came up to me recently is, of course, all the craziness that's happening in the world. And, the memorial for Charlie Kirk. And, it was like mind boggling for me because I haven't seen people worship like that in a long time. And, you got a majority of the people on the planet that they wouldn't change their state if their life depended on it. It's like, I'm just going to stay cool. I'm going to not allow any of this to happen. And then all of a sudden, you got people right next to you or all around you. It's sort of like the video that Matt brought up that time about the first loyal fan. You know what I mean? You guys know what I'm talking about. It's like the guy's out there dancing all by himself until you get the first crazy person that joins him. And then all of a sudden, then you got people. So I know that none of you would admit to it. Maybe you will, because a lot of you are close to me. But I personally have been in situations where everyone around me is doing something, and it made me feel that FOMO, that fear of missing out, that I wasn't doing what the rest of the people were doing. And so I've seen this even at, personal development seminars, right? Where people are like, hey, get in it. Hi, Bob. Hi, Jim. Hi, Shelly. And so one of the things is when you see people that get into a state, and it has to do with their voice, and it has to do with their movement of their body, and they're all getting into it, it can really, really catch you up to get you in it. And so one of the things I'd ask each and every one of you is, if you go out of your way to put yourself in state before you connect with people, before you reach out and give to people, that really all you're doing is you're trying to use your state, your little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine, your enthusiasm and thesos, excitement inside of you to change the state of the other person. Now, one of the things that I think is amazing is I've always heard this thing where people would walk up to me after I did a presentation or a training, and they go, I don't understand anything, but I'm in. And I know that some of you heard me maybe say this before. It's like You Got Mail, I believe that's, or Sleepless in Seattle, whatever that one scene was, where the guy basically said, well, I can tell you're not faking. And she goes, oh, really? Watch this. And she starts going through all the sounds, and he's like looking at her, and then everyone in the restaurant's looking, and all of a sudden an older lady, and I think that she was like the mother of one of the people that did the
Rob
producer,
Reiner's mother,
Rob Reiner's mother.
the
And she
director.
goes, I'll take whatever she's having. And one of the things that's really funny about that is that we all see that in people, but most of the time, if you're just staying on a scale to 1 to 10, if you're just staying at maybe or 2 or 3, and your enthusiasm, your excitement, your energy, being excited. So when I first met my mentor, it was amazing because he had 3 things that you needed to do, right? And one was be excited. The second one is pay attention. He goes, be patient with yourself. There's a lot of stuff that you're going to learn about yourself that you don't know yet. So be patient with yourself. And then the other one is don't quit. So you guys have heard me say this over and over again, and I really want to cover this in the next few days because I know that we've said we would cover this stuff at the beginning of when we started Unlimited Wisdom. But one of the things is I just haven't done it. So I'm responsible. But, I really want people to start, talking about movie clips. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But Matt today sent me, all that short little part where Rocky Balboa is talking to his son. You know what I mean? Because his son immediately wants to blame his father for taking on a fight. And he's going, people don't take me serious, and you're using my the only thing I got going for me is your last name. You know what I mean? And you guys have seen that speech if you don't see the movie, where he's going like, listen, life's going to knock you down, and it's going to hit harder than anything else in life. And if you don't pick yourself up and stop blaming people, and blame this, blame that, then you're never going to be a winner. You're going to be a coward. And so when Matt did that, it got me really excited, because the first thing that I did is I went on, AI and Google, and I put in, the top 10 most inspirational speeches. And, the one by Steve Jobs that he gave at a university really, really blew my mind. And because he talks about his 3 stories. So I want to share that tomorrow. I just want for this video, hi, Deborah, is to get every one of you to really ask yourself, what state of mind am I in? What state of emotion am I in? And then really ask yourself this question. I always ask the questions out loud with my mouth. Is like, what could I do to change my state? What could I do to change the way I feel? Now, how many of you know people? I always say that word, so you don't have to say me. But how many of you people know people that every time you seem to talk to them, they're in another business opportunity? All right? It's like, it reminds me of that hip hop song, jump, 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 jump. They just, it's just like, they just keep going, from thing to thing to thing to thing. I'm telling you right now, here's how it happens. If you know of anyone like that, or you have done it yourself, including going from trainer to trainer to trainer to trainer, to book to book to book to book to book, to course to course to course to course to course. If you're always this person that keeps doing this, here's the only thing that I'm going to tell you. It's when you see a video of somebody, they're in a higher state of vibration and energy than you are. That's all it is. Because people want to call me and try to get me interested in what they're doing. But it doesn't work because they can't match my state of vibration and energy. I notice all the time when people reach out to me, it's like, as soon as they reach out to me and I call them on the phone, it's like I can feel their energy drop. And the reason that their energy drops is because they have a lack of delusional self-confidence and self-esteem in themselves, right? So they go, well, wow, I wonder if I could get Robert to look at this. And it's like, hi, Robert, how you doing? And I get on a message, hey, Craig, thanks for the message. I'm blessed and highly favored and deeply loved, and I pray the same for you and your family. What's going on? And it short circuits them. They're like, it's like, it is like, so if you see people that go, oh my God, you'll notice one thing. Here's how you can always tell when somebody's vibration, hi, Jim, how you doing? Is they'll immediately tell you the story that the person told them. See, they don't tell you why they're excited. See, if you started out a conversation and I was going, hey, Lisa Marie, you got a moment? Yeah, Robert, what's up? Man, I am jacked out of my mind. I'm really excited to share this with you. See, it's coming from my belief and my excitement of why I'm doing what I'm doing. If you listen really close, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. If I called up Lisa and did this, hey, Lisa, you got a minute? And she's, yeah, Robert, what's up? I talked to this person. They were telling me about this other person. And these people are with other people, and they have this incredible product that is the best product on the planet. and they all worked together to get a guy that was a billionaire. He's been a billionaire forever, and they put this company together. And so, because he's got so much money, what they did is they did this with the compensation plan. And you see right away, you notice that everything that's coming out of their communication is about someone else's story, enthusiasm, and excitement. Not only on the product, but the comp plan, where most people get hyped and have to jump. It's like, hey, Lisa, they're allowing people in now for free. The first people that get in, this is $1 trillion company, and it's on the ground floor. And man, you can't miss out on this. So if any one of you have ever gotten caught up in that, all right. So now here's where I'm going to close this, so you guys can help yourself a little bit. I've seen a post today, and it really affected me, because it said the state that you need to be at, and and you guys have seen me show this over and over again, right? But I think it's just so powerful to bring it to your mind all the time, that you want to be running in the top, frequencies or state, not these, pride and anger and fear and grief, you know, all these down here, guilt, shame. And so if you're surfing, or you train the algorithms to feed you stuff where the person's excited, but they're not excited, they're angry. I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this person's doing this. Can you believe that these people are doing that? Can you believe that these people are doing that? Are they using energy to talk about their state of mind? Interesting, huh? Because when they're talking about negative stuff, people would go, well, this person is passionate. Isn't that interesting? How many of you have seen people, just nothing out of their mouth is just everything's negative, fear, 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 negative, fear, fear, fear. It's like, man, if we don't do this, the planet's going to get destroyed. You know what I mean? So, I'm not going to get on one side or another, but we've been told ever since I was young that the planet was going to die. When me and Matt have conversations about this, and now he's got Ezra sitting there, it's like Ezra's going to come to him because he heard somebody that really was emphatic that if we don't do something immediately, the world's going to change. And me being 63, I can say to my incredible son, yeah, I've heard that before. So how many of you that are in your 60s and 70s, how many times is the world going to end and we seem to get by it? Right? It's like crazy, isn't it? And I was telling Matt that, things look like they're the worst they've ever been. But how many of you remember doing drills where we hid underneath our desk because we're going to get bombed by Russia? Do any of you think, now that you're older, that we went through drills of going underneath our desk if a nuclear bomb hit us? How many people are going like, hey, I think you would be better off looking out the window. Just going, there's the flame, and then just go, 1, 2, they're just thing down before you're evaporate. And I'm laughing at that because somehow all of us made it through it. How did we all make it through it? Man, look at him laugh. I mean, that's crazy. That's so cute. And there's a state. You watch Ezra and you see him smiling and he's all excited because of this, toy that's a sunflower. Does that change your state? What is it? Is it a sunflower? Oh, it's a lion. Okay. So that's really all I wanted to share with you guys is that ask yourself, what state should you be in and what state are you in? So I remember like it was yesterday, me being extremely introverted. I had three friends and they were auto mechanics. And all I did was create and build race cars. That's all I did. So I was the opposite of a social butterfly. How many of you guys know a mechanic? Real social butterflies. You know what I mean? Just, hey, if I had a conversation with you, it was usually me in and under a hood or under a car. Not really connecting when you're doing that, right? And so when my mentor said, you got to get excited, you got to change your state. And I was like, what? And he goes, Robert, listen, if you have to run around your house a couple of times before you start connecting with people, do that. I was like, what? And he goes, because when you're gasping for breath, it sounds like you're excited. So now I'm going like, Lisa, do you got a second? Hey Lisa, you got a moment? You're trying to catch your air, so it sounds like you're excited because your blood, your rate is up, your heart rate is up, everything is up. And so that's something that I really want to ask yourself all the time because this video that sort of emotionally grabbed me was it like it's so sad that the majority of the people all day, every day, because of the way social media is, the way that the news is, the way that even movies is most of the time, everyone doesn't realize that they're running in a state of fear. And when you really understand that the world is constantly trying to scare us, you have to ask yourself, why would they constantly want us in a state of fear? We understand jokingly, I'm saying this jokingly, don't get mad at me, but we understand how bad climate change is. See, they had to get away from global warming, right? But we know how bad climate change is, but so far, this is a year where we've had no hurricanes. So why are they scaring us with hurricanes that are out in the middle of the Atlantic, virtually thousands of miles away? See, they're so used to scaring us with the hurricanes. It's like, hey, we got two hurricanes that are way out here in the Atlantic, and it's like, what? No, they're out there. But it's like, well, do I need to do something? Can I call some of my friends on the East Coast and tell them to get prepared? No, no, they're not even close. Is the waves going to come up even a little bit? No, we just want to tell you that they're out there. You know what I mean? And the other one I'll leave you guys with. Why is it that, and we know why, but I'm just having fun with you guys. Regardless of what's happening in the United States based on weather, why is it always that 30 or 40 or 80 million people are in trouble? Because that's what gets clicks. That's what, they don't say, hey, listen, there's 350 million people in the United States. I just want to let you guys know that 320 million of them are going to have an awesome freaking day as far as weather. Wouldn't that be a boring way to talk about it? It's like, hey, 320 million people are going to be, they're going to have a pretty pleasant day today. So tomorrow, what we're going to talk about is I want you guys to think about it. Let's come up with songs. Let's come up with movies. Let's come up with movie clips. Let's think of, man, if Jamie was here, he'd be talking about poetry. You know what I mean? But what are things that we all can do or that you do to intentionally change your state? Because some people go, wow, I don't do a morning ritual, so I don't change my state. And then you go, well, you know, it's like, well, I don't want to do something because why? Because you think it's silly? You think that it's silly? So, how many of you don't want to change your state because you don't want anyone to see? I always tell people all the time, for me personally, walking out in my front yard bare feet, even when there's snow out there, and grabbing a hold of a tree, do you guys think my neighbors see me doing this? They do. And nobody says anything. But I bet you when they're not around me, they're going like, you see this guy? He's like he's on his knees, and then sometimes I see him with his head on the ground and his hands on the ground. Maybe he's Muslim, maybe he's doing like a Muslim prayer, and then I see him with his hands up in the air. Doesn't he think that people see him with his hands up in the air? What is he doing? You know what I mean? And I think that the reason that I don't think that anybody ever says anything to me, because when we see people that are that bold, there's a part of us that goes, I should be doing that. I should be doing that, but I don't know what my spouse will say. I don't know what my children will say. I don't know what my dogs will say. I don't know what my neighbors will say. It's like, because if you do that and you no longer are thinking what other people think, then it's like you will get yourself into state anytime. So like when I speak on stage, there's this whole thing that I do of getting myself into state. And some of you, have probably heard me do it, but it's like, man, I pound my chest. I clap my hands. I get into state and I walk on stage and everyone immediately can feel it. Have any of you watched me speak live? It's like everybody knows that I'm going to bring it. Have you ever seen me on a Zoom talking with other groups of people? I love how the internal chat goes. It's like I have been in 7.5 years with a company, and people actually say, don't put me after Robert. Because people want to at least maintain the energy. But what people don't realize is that they pick up my energy, so their energy is more. And then it just starts to accumulate, compound as it goes. So I know you guys all have seen that. So I want you to just consciously ask yourself what state I'm in. What can I do to change the state? And tomorrow, let's talk about, I want you to think between today and tomorrow, and let's all of us, throw things in that we do to change our state. Is that fair? All right. So love and appreciate you all. Thank you, Star, for getting on here. Shelly, Mary, Karen, Jim, Deborah, Coach Bob, Kevin, Michael and Angela, Lisa Marie, Jody, Bill, Ezra, and Matthew, and CJ. Love and appreciate you guys. Bye-bye.